Hey, what up, y'all? The Georgia Bureau of Investigations just had a press conference not that long ago about the shooting near Emory University. Let's get into it. And shout out to Force Breaking News for this.
Everybody for being here this morning. Uh, as Sir mentioned, I'm Chris Hosey. I'm the director here at Georgia Bureau Investigation, and I'm joined up here this morning by Special Agent in Charge Paul Brown of the FBI Atlanta Field Office, Interim Police Chief Gregory Hadrick from DeKalb Police Department, DeKalb County Police Department, Assistant Chief Carvin Tice from Atlanta Police Department, Chief Bert Butnick from Emory University Police Department, members of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation also present here with us this morning. Myself and SAC Brown will be the two speakers this morning. We will open up for questions towards the end, and we will address those questions ourselves. The others up here this morning will not. They are here for solidarity, obviously in the loss of one of our own this morning. So with that, I will get started, and then, like I said, we'll try to answer some questions towards the end that are pertinent that we can discuss at this point of the investigation. As Sarah mentioned, we're here this morning to provide further information and updates regarding the investigation into the incidents that occurred last Friday afternoon, August 8th, near the CDC and Emory University. Firstly, and most importantly, our hearts and prayers go to the family, friends, and colleagues of DeKalb County Police Officer David Rose, who was killed in the line of duty during this incident. He served with honor, courage, and unwavering dedication. His sacrifice will never be forgotten, and his commitment to protecting others is a profound testament to the very best of the law enforcement profession. Again, our thoughts and prayers go out to his family, his agency, and the community which he served. Our investigation obviously began on Friday afternoon and continued throughout the night into early Saturday morning. And as I mentioned earlier, that investigation continues as we speak through our agents and assisting law enforcement conducting numerous interviews, collecting evidence, and that evidence being analyzed as well. Concerning the shooter in this case, Patrick Joseph White, during our investigation, and as lastly on Friday evening, late Friday evening, his family was fully cooperating with the investigation. Our first encounter with the family came late Friday night into Saturday morning when agents and assisting law enforcement met with the parents at their residence. Here's what we can release at this time regarding the shooter and the circumstances around the investigation to this point. The shooter evidence in this investigation indicates that the shooter had recently verbalized thoughts of suicide, which even led to law enforcement being contacted several weeks prior to the incident. A search warrant executed at the residence of the shooter revealed written documentation that expressed the shooter's discontent with the COVID-19 vaccinations. These documents are currently being examined by GBI certified profilers, and they are being shared, have been shared, and will continue to be shared with the FBI Atlanta Field Office. Preliminary information from DeKalb County Medical Examiner's Office indicates that Officer David Rose's injuries were caused by one of the shooter's weapons. The shooter died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Further forensic testing of the firearms evidence will be conducted by the GBI Crime Lab. Additionally, over 500 shell casings have been recovered from the crime scene area. A total of 5 firearms, along with other evidence, has been recovered from the scene and will be submitted for further forensic testing.
Dang it.
Close to 200 rounds impacted 6 of the CDC buildings. Electronic items seized in the case are undergoing digital forensic examination, and agents have and are continuing to conduct numerous interviews, review video evidence as well that was recovered. Currently, in addition to that, currently our investigation reveals that the rounds fired by the Emory police officer did not strike the subject. The complexity of this investigation requires a great deal of collaboration, which started Friday night and continues to this day, along with information sharing between local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies, many of which are represented here today. We don't anticipate any further updates at this time. However, if anything pertinent is developed concerning this investigation, you will be notified and it will be posted on our website. I'll now call Special Agent in Charge Paul Brown to the podium.
Thank you, Director Hosey. I'm Paul Brown, the Special Agent in Charge of the FBI Atlantis Division. Thank you for being here with us today. First, I want to recognize Officer Rose, who responded one of the first on the scene and died a hero protecting his community. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Officer Rose's family, friends, and colleagues. So the FBI responded along with our partners Friday night. And as Director Hosey said, with nearly 500 rounds fired and nearly 200 rounds striking facilities on the CDC campus, and that's been a focus of ours to process that scene. So late into Friday night, members of the FBI SWAT, along with special agents, went through room by room, clearing the facilities on the CDC campus to make sure no one was struck. There was no victims on that campus with that many rounds being fired into the campus. I'm glad to say that everyone was safely evacuated, to include all the children in the daycare, and they're reunified with their families. We then worked with the Atlanta Police Department evidence technicians, the FBI's evidence response team, to document the shots into the facility and continue to assist the investigation. Director Hosey, the GBI, and our partners to assist this investigation will continue to do so.
Extra absorbent, even for your messiest meals. Vanity Fair napkins. Elevate every day.
Thank you.
As I mentioned earlier, we know that we have recovered video evidence. Continue to examine that. We encourage anybody. We know that there's a lot of cell phones out there, that if there's video evidence that would be part of this investigation, or if they have information that they can provide to the investigation, to please contact us. As you know, that can be done through our tip line at 1-800-597-TIPS or 1-800-597-8477. They can also utilize our See Something, Send Something app that is available on Android and iPhones. You can attach videos to those entries, and it can be anonymous if they so choose. There's a choice there for that. And also on our, it can be submitted online through our website. That we can provide that information if you need it. So at this time, we will open up briefly for some questions.
Hey there, Skyler Henry with CBS News. One of the things that we've heard from healthcare workers over the last several days is that they've been concerned about threats based off of misinformation and disinformation tied to vaccines. Is there an assessment, either from you or from Special Agent in Charge, about the threat level as it relates to healthcare workers? Has there been an uptick in the days since or prior to?
Threats of that nature is always something we take very seriously and we look at. We've not seen an uptick, although any rhetoric that suggests or leads to violence is something we take very seriously. So that's something we're very sensitive to. We're going to respond to quickly should we see it in the future, but although we're tracking it, we're sensitive to it, we have not seen that uptick.
Director, we talked a little bit about the investigation so far. I guess when we haven't seen a good picture of the suspect itself, you guys are releasing one conviction. Because of something around, can you discuss what kind of weapons were used? I know there were
They need to talk more into the mic.
that's a lot of rounds. Can we talk about how you think those down as it relates to money?
So, first question with the picture. We'll be sending that picture out later this afternoon. What we do encourage is that the public remembers the face of the officer this next week, especially. I'm not here to publicize the individual, but we do see the importance of that photograph being put out. It will not be on our website, but we will provide it to you here today. Secondly, on the 5 firearms that were recovered, it was a mixture, I believe, of, I know, rifles, a shotgun, and maybe a handgun. I'm not completely sure on that. The majority, I believe, of the shell casings recovered were from a long gun rifle.
Were those weapons registered to him or somebody else? Do you know when they were purchased? Now, where?
Don't know when they were purchased. Thanks to great work and quick work by ATF on Friday and Saturday and over the weekend, it was determined that the weapons belonged to the father. And as we mentioned, he was interviewed over the weekend, but they did belong to the father.
200 rounds. You said 200 rounds impacted 6 facilities. We know that there was the daycare there. Can you just give us a sense of the proximity of those rounds to people who were there and what level of how serious was the trip?
I'm not sure of the locations of the rounds that were impacted there. And it was, I believe I mentioned, it was close to 200 rounds that impacted 6 different buildings. And the exact locations of where the round struck, I'm not familiar with.
Can you give us any more specifics about the evidence you said you found regarding whites discontent with the vaccine, what that looked like, what we know about the things?
It was, we're basing that off some of the documentation that we recovered. I would describe it as more of a public awareness. There was no direct threat, as I'll refer to it within it, but it was his making the public aware, in his words, of his discontent with the vaccines itself.
You suggested that the suspect was on law enforcement's radar in the week prior to the shooting. Was that mainly about his own welfare and his suicidal ideations, or was there any indication that he might carry out some sort of
Well, we're aware that there were law enforcement contacts made with him prior to it. We know within weeks prior to it. Currently, this time, our investigators are getting with the law enforcement that made those contacts and finding out what the details of that were.
We know that according to a lot of point sources that during the morning that they have some medications and so on. Can you talk about maybe help make up just a little bit of this point? Have any indications about what he suffered from any mental health issues that he had medication for, something like that?
I can't speak to that at this time.
public awareness of the actual patient
Milo, you said toilet!
Ronnie 3-ply? You're gonna need it.
Only Brawny has 3 plies. It's new. It's stronger than Bounty. Summon the strongest.
See what scholarships you may qualify for. Visit gcu.edu/myoffer.
No, just
We're
basically
almo-
the overall
we're
content
almost
of
done.
one
Hold
of
on,
the
y'all.
documents was more of wanting to make the public aware of his distrust of the vaccines.
One of the 911 calls where it sounded like
Wait a minute, so Emory wasn't the target, the CDC was.
Peter Emery and they
Okay.
Sam's name on their
Okay, that makes sense now.
Not to my knowledge, I've not heard the 911 call, but I'm sure we will at some point and dig into that and see where it is pertinent to the investigation. But I apologize.
Is there a protocol in place when someone has suicidal ideations to restrict them from being able to access weapons, or how is he able to access them?
So all indications in our investigation was that they were secured and that he forced his way into the safe that contained the weapons.
A lot of CDC employees are worried about returning back to the building. They're working from home mostly this week, but are there any plans to work with them to up security in the area, or is there a conversation about what that looks like?
Paul may have more to add to that, but I know at our level we are in communication with CDC Security, providing them any information that they need concerning now and in the present for security purposes, and we will continue to do that with them. If I can add that.
That's right. And we work with them on doing a first assessment to the facility. And certainly, if we become aware of any threats to their personnel or their campus, we'd make them aware of that and take steps to protect them.
So folks that used to doing maybe make physical changes to the outside of the doors. I don't know how that in this study. Could you talk about whether or not they're doing any physical changes to maybe like the guard shackles,
I wouldn't be in a position to answer that for the CDC. They're going through an assessment process now, so that's really a decision based on the results of that assessment. If they come to a conclusion that's necessary, then they take those steps.
Talk about his arrival to the guard shack and what people said and how they turned him away.
I'm not familiar with the exact path taken that day. The majority of the crime scene that we examined was specifically
What about Officer Rose's arrival on scene? Did he have a chance to get out of the car and was he ambushed?
I'm not going to go into the details of that at this time. It's enough to note that Officer Rose was doing his job and encountered gunfire, and unfortunately, he passed as a result of that. I apologize.
Well, you said that there were documents that because you wanted to make it vaccine. What do you mean by documents? There on Twitter or memo or social media?
It was a writing.
If the way was secured in the safe, did he have a key to the safe? He break in? How did he get
He broke into it. Again, the majority of the crime scene that we examined was in that intersection close to the corner by CBS.
One more question. Was he firing anywhere else besides firing at anywhere else in the area of
Besides, I'm sorry.
Was he firing anywhere else besides exactly building? Was it shots of that CPS and that?
All I can tell you there is the majority of the rounds in that direction we know struck the buildings. And past that, I'm not sure.
Thank you for being here tonight and for these comments.
Thank you.
And that's it.